talk about what the best PT school applicants do with those fears, because I'll be real, like, they happen to all of us. We're all human beings. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about what the next steps are. And then after this, I'm telling you right now, you will be able to look at your biggest fears and say, hey, I know exactly what to do with them, and I know how to make sure that they don't hold me back, or I don't self-sabotage or get in my own way.
It's one shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the
Hey, what is up? How you doing? My name is Joseph Ngugi. I'm a physical therapist, also one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, where we help you get into physical therapy school without wasting time or money. If you're watching this, or if you're on this page, chances are that you're interested in becoming a physical therapist. And if that's the case, then you're on the right page, you're in the right place. Be sure to binge on everything we have to offer you. And then most importantly, be sure to like and subscribe so that you do not miss any training we release every single week. So in this training, I want to talk about what the best PT school applicants do with their biggest fears. Now, this is huge because a lot of us have fears, but what we've noticed over the years is that many of our fears feel unique to us, right? It's like, man, I must be the only one struggling with this, or I must be the only one struggling with these certain, insecurities or fears or frustrations or thoughts or doubts. And so let's talk about them, and then let's talk about what the best PT school applicants do with those fears, because I'll be real, like, they happen to all of us. We're all human beings. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about what the next steps are. And then after this, I'm telling you right now, you will be able to look at your biggest fears and say, hey, I know exactly what to do with them, and I know how to make sure that they don't hold me back, or I don't self-sabotage or get in my own way. So let's dive into it. So let me talk about some of the biggest fears that most students have. And this is just from students that we have coached and students that have worked with us over the years. And so maybe one of them or several of them will sound similar to some of the fears that you might have right now. So one of them is, I'm scared to get rejected. So I'm a pre-PT, and I'm scared that I'm going to put in all this work and I won't get into one of the schools I'm interested in. I'm scared to let my family down, or I'm scared to let my parents down if things don't go as planned. I'm scared that if things don't go well and I don't get into my dream school, or I don't get into a program and something draws me back, I'm scared that people will not think that I'm successful, or will see me as not successful. I'm scared that I would have spent a lot of time and money into this career or this dream only to be disappointed. And that's usually when we create a backup plan or a safety net for ourselves. I'm scared that everyone else around me, all the other pre-PTs around me, will be a lot more qualified than I currently feel right now. I'm scared that I won't be able to stand out. I'm scared that I have very little to offer the schools that I'm applying to. Y'all, these are real fears. These are real things that paralyze us. And if we let ourselves sit in them too long, y'all know what happens. If you sit in it too long, then basically you feel like you're never going to be good enough. You're never going to qualify. And you basically do very little to get yourself closer to that dream. And one thing that we've said many times is the only way you don't get into your dream schools, or the only way you don't become a physical therapist, because that's the end goal, right? The only way you don't become a physical therapist is if you quit. And those fears, if we let them linger long enough, they will lead to the feeling of, just like, man, it's only a matter of time before I have to pick something else. And that's usually when students quit. So let's talk about it, because I'm telling you this, students that get into PT school and students that quit and give up on their dreams of becoming physical therapists have similar fears. So the question is, what do the students that ultimately get into a PT school or ultimately realize their dream, what do those students do differently than the students that end up pulling the plug? That's what I want to talk about. And then from there, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And then at the very end of this video, I'm actually going to tell you a way that you can start learning how to navigate and challenge these fears. So One of the biggest things that I'll tell you is the way we deal with our biggest fears is by learning how to question and challenge them. Very few of us do that consistently. Maybe you do it once every so often. Maybe something good happens and you start to believe in yourself, but it's usually temporary. So we have to learn how to constantly question and challenge our biggest fears. So here's the first question I have to ask myself. Are the fears that I have serving me, or are they paralyzing me? Right? This is huge. Like, are the fears I have serving me, or are they paralyzing me? And the reason why I say that is because fears can actually be a good thing, right? Like for example, if I'm in the woods and I hear something behind me and I'm thinking it's like a wild animal or something, fear is a good thing because it's keeping me safe, and now I can actually run to safety or do what I need to do. So fear can be a good thing if it's used to help propel me closer to my dream, or it's used to help me take the actions I know I need to take as a pre-PT. Is this making sense? But if the fears I have are not serving me, then I have to start challenging those fears. I have to challenge them by asking questions like this. Why do I believe each of my fears is true? Ask yourself that question. The second question you want to ask to challenge your fears is, do I have evidence that what I believe about my fears is true? Do I have evidence that I'll never be good enough? Do I have evidence that, because of my low GPA, I'll never qualify for a program? Do I have evidence that I'm actually going to let my family down? Like, do I actually have proof of that? Or is that something that your mind has created in and of itself? This is super important. One of the most important questions to ask in order to challenge those fears is, have other students been able to tackle this fear before and prove it to be untrue? So think of the biggest things that you think are holding you back. Have other students been in that position before, and have they been able to navigate through it and ultimately get to their goal? And how do you find that out? You seek out stories. It's one of the reasons why we do a series called the Pre-PT Inspire series, where at least lately on Instagram Live, once a week, we're bringing in one of our students to basically be interviewed. And these are all students that have gotten into PT school after super low GPAs, like a 2.4, or getting rejected to anywhere between 15 and 20 schools in a single application cycle. Like, some of the most extreme situations, students that have been trying to get into PT school for 4 years before seeking out help. So you're hearing these stories and you're like, yo, someone on here has to have experienced some of the fears that I'm dealing with, and they navigated through them. So now that's proof. Once I hear that, that's proof that it's been done before. And once that happens, then here's the real thing. The real thing I have to now start entertaining is, what if the opposite of each fear that I have is actually the truth? So if I take my biggest fears, I have to ask myself, what if the opposite is actually true? What if I do have every capability of standing out? What if I can't disappoint my family as long as I keep pursuing my dream and keep seeking out resources to help me get there? What if? And when you start entertaining that, then something kind of cool happens. A lot of the anxiety that's matched up or attached to how we feel about our inability to be good applicants turns into anticipation, turns into excitement. Now I'm actually looking forward to doing the things I need to do. Now I'm actually intentional about looking for resources, or seeking help, or seeking guidance, or putting myself around other students that have been in the exact same situation. That's how students that get accepted into PT school, that's how they deal with their fears. The question is, are you going to do that? Are you going to confront your fears, or are you going to let them consume you? Because if you let them consume you, then you may end up persuading yourself into thinking that you're never going to be good enough, that you're never going to get into a school, that you're never going to be a physical therapist. And that's just one step closer to you potentially pulling the plug on your entire dream and quitting. And like I said before, the only way you don't get into PT school, the only way you don't become a physical therapist, if that's genuinely what you want to do, the only way you don't get there is if you quit. So we have to ask ourselves, are we giving ourselves the ammo to quit by not challenging our fears, or are we willing to do what the best in the game do, not because they have 4.0s, or no, they have the same obstacles as you. Like, what have those students done differently to get into PT school? They challenge them. So how can I start challenging those fears, and how can I start seeking out help or guidance or direction to help me navigate through them step by step by step? And that's it. So that's it. That's what the best PT school applicants do differently. And if after listening to this, you're like, yo, I'm now realizing that there's certain things I need help with. There's certain things I need guidance with. Do this real quick. Text us. Like this is a number that we actually text you back. So text us the word guide, just that word. Text us the word guide, and I'm gonna give you the phone number. The phone number is 813-437-9467. 813-437-9467. That is our pre-PT grind phone number. So go text that number, text us just the word guide. And if you text us that word, we'll take care of you. We'll show you how we can work with you. We'll even potentially get on a call with you if it makes sense, and see how we can help you navigate through where you're at. But understand, other students have been in the exact same situation as you. Other students have been able to navigate through what you're experiencing. And if they could do it, then you can too. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was helpful. If it was helpful, be sure once again to like, subscribe, share this out with a friend, a classmate, a peer that you know would value this. And we'll see you on the next training. Bye.